flex. The live is one in the six. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. I got time this morning. Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Jim Diamond, earlier in that super chat, he said for the overtime, man. Salute to you, good brother. Let's do this roll call real quick. Amazing. Give me 1 second, y'all. My wife just ran out the door running errands, and I'm listening. She left the damn coffee pot on. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Unbelievable. God damn it. I don't even drink coffee. Burn this damn house down. What's going on? Marriage people. I'm like, why do I smell coffee? And she left. What? Yeah. I should pour it and then go bring it to her. Right? That'd be funny as hell. Anyway, Anwar Willis, Mark Wonderlick, Stormy B-Man, all 3 of his channels. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to all 3 of his channels. Salute. My brother iRock, salute, brother. Jim Diamond, Dial Big G, Steve L, the Mac, Mr. Mont, the real OG, salute. Rod Neal, Sam Mack, Joe, what's going on, Joe? I appreciate you, Jim. Salute, man. So let's get to this. On this Simian Saturday, WBC worst belt clearly. James Toney said we be crooks. Yeah, no doubt, Stormy. Yeah, take it. Y'all getting hammered. I hope it ends in Chicago because whatever y'all get, we get like a day later or later on in that day. It's crazy stuff. Y'all notice, y'all heard by now everything that's going on, and it's at a point now where something going on in 2025. It's like this is a bit of the year of truth to a degree. It's the year of truth. You know it's a new day when Dan Raphael has to cut up Ryan Garcia on Twitter. Did y'all see that? If y'all didn't, it's on Twitter, or you go to Blue Blood's video. He did a video on it. You know, Ryan Garcia is back to his own shenanigans. Now he's online talking crazy. Me and Stormy was talking yesterday. Kawhi Elliott, salute. Ryan is becoming a lot more verbal and vocal, which means always, you know, I suspect that he's on some drugs again. He's becoming a little more vocal since Devin Haney collected a $12 million check, and this clown got a fight coming up. We don't know if he's going to win because he looked horrible. No, I'm sorry, not horrible. He looked normal against Rolly Romero. He looked very, 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 very normal versus Rolly Romero. Very normal. So instead of focusing on Mario Barrios, he has to focus on Devin Haney to try and market yourself. That don't work. You know why it don't work? You're living a walking contradiction because you yourself got on Twitter and said you bet $50,000 on Devin Haney to win. So no matter what, he made you a wealthy man. Didn't he? And I stand on this. We've been wondering, hey, man, why is Turkey out of seat giving this kid so much opportunity, man? He's a racist and everything else. You know what? The money Turkey going to get back. He's putting Devin in a position to get the revenge that he wants. That's how I'm looking at it now. Mook, what up? That's how I'm looking at it now. That's how I'm looking at it. All you Ryan Garcia fans that are unconditional, y'all saw the real Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. You was very confused. As was I. I was at the fight. I was like, what the hell? I said, oh, he's clean. When he's clean and he's fighting a subpar fighter, he can't even get that right. Dropped in the second round and everything. I said, okay. I said, yeah, the rematch can happen. Watch him not take it. Now, all of a sudden, his hand broken. The hardest injury to prove. Right? Right. So of course we don't want the Devin Haney rematch. Of course. Yeah, I didn't say anything. Hand broken. Y'all ain't say anything. None of the Ryan Garcia fans say, okay, well, his hands healed up. Let's get it. The irony. Isn't that the same thing that Subadel Matias said? When my hand heals up, his team said, when his hand heals up, we'll call you in 2 weeks, Bill. That was in 2024. Remember that? Ryan Garcia, when my hand heals up. All right? Weird how they both pop for Ostarine, right? So, you know, if you're new to what's going on, Subadel Matias popped for Ostarine. The same thing that Ryan Garcia was on. And now the WBC is changing the allowable levels. And now the fight might still go on. And the boxing world, of all people, Sergio Moro, who's been a notorious hater, he got it right. He said, this is ridiculous. I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but he the statement he made was, look, man, if you're driving and you get pulled over and the police officer suspects that you're intoxicated and he takes out his machine and you blow a point over the limit, it's academic. It doesn't say you got to blow 10 points or 30 points. They say if you're 1 point over this limit, you're done. If you're 1 point under the limit, he can't do anything with you legally. He can't say, well, nah, I'm just taking you off the road. No, he can't do that. There's limits there. If you're under, you're good. If you're over, you're not good. Kamara, what up? Mark Wunderlich in the building. Dow Big G. Subadel was over the limit. And here come the WBC again. Saving people. But putting a black eye to the sport. Well, we're gonna review the WBC. But I find it strange. These guys are getting caught. So what happened with Mark Heston, salute, 4-ounce sniper, salute. I found it weird that Ryan Garcia went after Dan Raphael on Twitter. And you know, the same old, you fat this, fat that. And listen, when the facts make someone feel embarrassed and all they can do is attack you personally, you've won. Dan Raphael been called fat 1 billion times in his life. He's numb to it. He's numb to it. I promise you he is. He's a grown-ass man. He's numb to it. But stick to the facts. And he roasted him with what? Facts. He said Subadel was over the limit. And that's wrong. But he said, Ryan, you was like 600 over something crazy. I forgot the number. But he was significantly over the limit. So when people say, oh, it was only 1/1000th of a gram, yeah, you can't inject 1/1000th of a gram, which means he was cycling off. They caught the remainder in it. You ever walked into a bathroom after someone blew it up, but you gotta go? It's like, oh my God, what the hell was in here? There's no poop on the floor. There's no poop on the toilet. There's no streaks in the toilet, but you smell it. It was there. And he just came out. What's he going to say? I didn't do it. Dude, you was in here for like 20 minutes. Of course you did it. There's nothing on the floor, on the walls, no streaks in the toilet, but I smell it, bruh. It was you. You just blew it up. Brother, be 8 pounds lighter after that. I'd say burn an incense, but if you light a match or the methane, you probably blow up the whole crib. Michael Fleming, salute. Yeah, it's like 60 times over. Rick, what up? 60 times over the limit. And y'all want to talk to me about a billionth of a gram. He was cycling off. Osterine don't do nothing, but this is the second fighter that's on it. And Osterine don't do nothing, but it's on the ban list. Have y'all looked up Osterine? It's a performance enhancement drug. Tim, what up? Hassan, what up? That's it. It's on the list. That's it. So at this point, it's academic. And then Dan said, yeah, you came in 4 pounds overweight, 60 times over the limit. He said, you cheated. Dan Raphael is saying that he cheated, man. He said, you cheated. So Dan could be fat. He could have been eating a pizza and piece of fried chicken while he was typing that. But was he wrong? Get to the facts. I don't care about how Dan Raphael looks. I don't care about that. Sports guy, what up? Shaolin. Hassan, what up? I don't care about how he looks. I've roasted him in the past because he's had some fugazi things, and I've torn into him. But in this instance, he's right. He's right. And you know this clown didn't respond to him after that, right? 60 over the limit, didn't make weight. 88, what up? And as soon as you off of it, you getting outboxed by Rolly Romero, who's been knocked out twice. Tank knocked him out. Isaac Cruz almost killed him. Nobody said he was chinny. Nobody said he should retire. Nobody said he has pillow fists. The elder, Barossa, almost killed him. Nobody said Ryan should, Rolly should hang it up. Those things are reserved for who? Black fighters. So here this guy is. Gets in the ring with Ryan Garcia. Rolly was supposed to get obliterated that night. And what happened? Matter of fact, in the Fatal Fury, in the advertisement, they had Devin and Ryan talking to each other. Devin calling him a cheater. Ryan saying, I'll beat you again. I said, okay, this is the warm-up. Devin went in there, did his job, didn't get touched, hit and not get hit. Ramirez went to the hospital, hair all linked over and messed up. I think his ribs is broken. But he's pillow-fisted, right? Never mind. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He said, next up, let's go. And Ryan said no. Never forget that. Ryan said no. Ryan said no. He's been saying no. Drop the lawsuit. We could fight. Turkey said, what would you, went to the DHP. What would you sue them for? What was the amount? I got the amount. I'll pay y'all the amount. Drop the lawsuit so y'all can fight. That's what they did. There was no excuse. Except Ryan Garcia. He was the excuse. Osterine. But when you fight clean, you get cleaned. Ain't no one telling Ryan to fight Rolly again, right? They don't want to say, yo, Ryan, get that back in blood. The irony, right? The irony. Ask any Ryan Garcia slurper, do you want to see him running back with Rolly Romero? Listen to what they say. Nothing. No one's even talking about that. No one's even saying, yo, Ryan, you got Rolly Romero problems. No one's saying that. Thanks to Ryan, Rolly has a belt now. And Turkey Al-Sheikh is putting Ryan in a position where he's fighting for another belt. All he has to do is win. Del Riv, my brother, the War Report's in the building. Y'all don't see it? It's not Turkey in love with Ryan giving him opportunity just to give him opportunity. He's trying to make it mean something. Y'all don't get it? I know a lot of us was confused. Like, yo, why is Turkey giving this dude? And then it dawned on me. I said, oh, he's raising the stakes on Ryan. All Ryan got to do is perform. And if he messes around and gets in there and loses against Barrios, if he loses, he'll never be able to say that Turkey had the odds stacked against him. He was supposed to obliterate Rolly Romero, and he's supposed to beat up Barrios. And those were 2 title fights. 2. And he fumbled the bag. Allah's the perfect planner. Ryan is supposed to be this Christian, right? You think Jesus represents this? So between Allah and Jesus, they both looking at him like, nah, bro. Nah, bro. Allah looked at Jesus and said, what's up with this? And Jesus said, he don't represent anything that I do. Allah said, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take care of my people right here. And they dapped it up, and they both looking at Ryan like he crazy. Make sense? He's putting him in a position where you got to make it worth something. You blew it with Rolly. That was for a title, right? Right. Now Rolly, he can either face Devin or Manny Pacquiao. Because Rolly, after Tank, he came back. After Isak, he came back. Now he's a belt holder. Now he has options. Rolly paid the price. And he's still here. I really ain't got no problem with Rolly. I really don't. Everything I put on Devin Haney is projection. From him being pillow-fisted and scared and PTSD. Y'all looked at Rolly Romero? Y'all heard him talk? Some dude even said that Devin might be slow. I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from? Y'all listen to Rolly Romero? From his voice to everything. It's like, oh, what's going on with him? That's not him being punch drunk. That's not that. That's just him. But never mind all that. We just watching sport, right? From an unbiased eye, right? Right. Then you look at Ryan Garcia. You blew it with Rolly, and now you're getting a Barrios fight. And I'm telling y'all, don't be surprised if he blows that fight. Don't be surprised if we see the best Barrios we've ever seen. Do not be surprised. Oh, Timothy, we getting to it. I'm just building the case. I'm building the case. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely. He gets in there and fumbles the bag against Barrios. It's over for him. Where does he go from here? That's all Turkey's doing. He's giving Ryan an opportunity, right? He's actually lining Ryan up. That's what I'm saying, y'all. He's lining Ryan up. He wants that Devin fight for Devin more than Devin wants it. Turkey does. Devin gonna beat, if they fight again, Devin gonna beat the shit out of this dude. He's gonna beat him. He's gonna beat him, and he's gonna be so afraid he might not answer the bell. Going into whatever round it ends, he might go back to that corner, and I don't know who's gonna be his coach by then. He's gonna go back to that corner because I don't think he's with Derek James anymore, right? I don't think so. Devin's gonna box him for like about 2 or 3 rounds. He's gonna start clipping him, and he's gonna start muscling him. When he goes back to Gio James salute, when he goes back to that corner, he's gonna have to make a decision. So I don't know who's training him, but it's already obvious that Derek James couldn't help this kid. So if Jesus can't save these hoes, why are y'all trying, Derek? It's going to end badly for this kid. So all of that PTSD, and suicidal thoughts and all this other stuff. When he loses, if he fights Devin again, when he loses, y'all better pay close attention to him. Y'all better pay close attention to him. Close. Because he's weak in the mind. That's what all the drug abuse is. People that abuse drugs are weak mentally. People that men that beat on women are weak mentally. That tear up rooms. That they have to call ESU to escort you out of a hotel with a Magneto helmet on. Because you're a threat to yourself. He's weak mentally. What he said about black people, black women. He's mentally weak. Everything that y'all tried to project on Devin, that's him. And he can't fathom losing to Devin. On this level, he can't fathom that. Especially after all of this, he can't fathom that. That'll put him over the edge. Why do you think Teofimo even gonna play with it? 11 milli? I'm not fighting Devin at all. I'll talk shit, but I'm not fighting him at all. Because I can't take losing to a black kid. A black king. I can't take that. They done banged out my ex-wife and banging out my sister. I can't get in here and lose to him. The optics is going to look bad to me. So I'm just not going to do it. And I'm going to use his last performance as an excuse. And I'm Latino and no one's going to hold that over my head anyway. And y'all didn't. Y'all didn't. Nobody said Teofimo should retire after the Sandor Martin situation. After the Nakatani fight. That was the guy's name, right? The Japanese dude when Maitio said, I'm not fighting tall fighters anymore. After the Jermaine Ortiz fight. Nobody said, yo, Tio should pack it up, man. Nah, no one says that. After the George Kambosos fight, what? Nobody says that. These things are reserved for black fighters. And they're supported by a racist system, which includes the WBC. Now, the WBC already undermined their own belt with something called a franchise status, copper salute. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in order. Because, well, I'm going to try and go in order. Let's start for, okay, Franchon Cruz Dezern. Who remembers that? Y'all remember that? Franchon Cruz Dezern. You remember that crap? Man. Okay, let me take y'all through it for those of you that don't remember. Because I remember like it was yesterday. Franchon Cruz Dezern. Champion. And she's fighting this Willie What's-It called Alejandro, Ace Data salute, Alejandro Herman-Ass. And I'm looking at this chick and I'm like, well, this she, he, notice he, her, they, him, shim, those pronouns. She's part of the pronoun people. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, the bitch had traps like me. The bitch looked like she could shrug like 200 pounds. And I'm like, hey man, look, is that a naturally born woman? That's what I asked at first. I was just asking around. Then people say, no, she's really a woman. I said, damn. And then I said, well, was she tested? That's all I asked. Well, I wasn't the only one asking that. Mauricio Simian gets on, I don't know, press conference or his social media and said, we're bullying her because she's gay. Well, it's obvious she's gay, but no one cares. I asked, A, was she a naturally born woman? B, and he answered, he said, she has a child. I said, oh, okay, so she was born with ovaries. That's all I care about. The second part that I do care about was she tested? And this dumbass, Mauricio Simian, stuck on the gay part. And I said, that sounds like smokescreen, man. Was she tested, yes or no? And he said, Drew bully her because she gay. No one cares. I know her all her life. She has child. Don't care. I asked you, was she tested? Never answered the question. Well, Franchon fights this broad, this her, him, she, them. She fights this pronoun, loses her belt, and here this dude go, great night for boxing, and then bing, bing, bing. What do we find out about a week and a half later? She pops. And guess what she popped for? Whatever the drugs were that makes women make the transition from female to male, she was on it. So technically, due to the law and how these are the laws that the alphabet community fought for, y'all want to use bathrooms and everything else? Legally, our sister Franchon Cruz Dezern was in the ring with a man. And I said, I knew there was something wrong with her physique. When you're facing somebody in a boxing ring and they look like a bodybuilder, a lot of y'all don't know, but when they built like a bodybuilder, but they're moving like a boxer, a bodybuilder can't go into a gym the next day and box. They may look real intimidating with a pair of gloves on, but they can't move. They're slow. They have a lot of lactic acid. They'll be glorified punching bags. When you're facing a boxer that looks like a bodybuilder, but they're moving like a boxer with all this cardio, yeah, that's the juice. But it's a matter of getting caught. And Alejandro, her man ass, was caught. Took him 4 weeks to get that belt back. And I'm willing to bet that behind the scenes, he never mentioned it. And guess what? Alejandro, I didn't hear him, her, him, them complaining about, hey, where's the B sample? Hey, where's the B sample? Maricon, where's the B sample? I didn't hear him say that. It didn't even petition, but I'm willing to bet that Mauricio said, let's go to B sample, let's make a salt. I'm willing to bet he did that. I'm willing to bet. 5B says it took 4 months. It was that long? I don't recall, but it was a long time. It was a long time. You may be right. I know it was a long time. I was pissed. Thank you. And that's the part. He never apologized to her. He never apologized. There was never a formal letter. Because an apology is an admission of guilt. But here's the deal. Drew, that don't mean he's racist, does it? Y'all heard of a boxer by the name of, her nickname is La Barbie? She fought Rio Togo out of Japan, and Rio Togo's gloves was compromised. Bust her face up. Well, wonder why I brought that up? Because after the fight the next day, those gloves was on his desk. You don't believe me? Watch this.
Hello, my name is Mauricio Sulaiman, Executive Secretary of the WBC. We would like to announce that we have begun an investigation regarding the situation that happened in a female championship fight last weekend in Mexico. The fight was between Juarez and Rigo Togo from Japan, and there was a situation in which the gloves were tampered with. The WBC is gathering all the reports from the supervisors from both camps, and we will have a hearing with Togo's management to have them explain exactly what transpired during that situation of the gloves. Here's the evidence. It is a critical and alarming situation because the so-called skinning of gloves seems that happened for this fight. We are very concerned about this situation, and the WBC is gathering information regarding this happening not only in Mexico but other countries and other arenas. We are very concerned about the matter, and we will pay full attention to this situation, and we will inform accordingly of what happens after a hearing with Mr. Togo's management. Thank you very much.
Wow. 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 That's not strange to you guys? Y'all don't find that strange? Quick question. Just Walk, Brooklyn born. Salute. Quick question. Why wasn't Deontay Wilder extended the same courtesy? His WBC champion defended that belt 10 times. Tied Muhammad Ali's record. Couldn't make it 11. Because when we said, man, what the fuck's going on with that glove in the second fight, what Mauricio said was, we're just trying to ruin a historical night in boxing. You remember that? Right? But we'll get to that. What I want to remind y'all of is, okay, Mauricio Simian is a bad person. And he's a very racist person. Well, you know what? Let me use the correct wording, because we like to fling around the word racism. Racism just means you love your race. So I hope everyone does love their race. But what we're talking about is prejudice. What we're talking about is bigotry. That's what we're talking about. He's a prejudiced bigot. That's what he is. WBC is a Latin belt. It's the green. I call now the vomit green belt. I don't give a fuck about this belt, and they don't give a fuck about it. They've undermined their own status. Kai World, salute. They've undermined their own belts with things like the franchise status. But we're gonna go in order. Do y'all remember when this fool? All right, I spoke about how boxing is so corrupt in the Olympics that they were going to do away with it. Y'all remember that? I did a whole live stream about that. I'm like, man, Olympics and Summer Games in 2028, they're going to do away with boxing because it's so corrupt. I said, well, we did this, but someone was going to swoop in and save Olympic boxing. He was going to work hand in hand with the IBA to clean it up. That person was Mauricio Simian. And I said, wait a minute. Of all fucking people, him? Well, I did a video about it. Y'all might not remember. It's a few years old, but let's run it. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Boxing scene. Link will be in the description. I just found this very, very interesting. The WBC will work with the IBA to ensure boxing has a future in the Olympics. I hope y'all can see that belt. Y'all remember that belt? That was a Black Power belt. That was a Freedom belt to be issued in February. Black Fist breaking chains. This dude is hilarious. Mauricio Sulaimán, of all people, says the WBC will work with the IBA, the new name for the AIBA to ensure boxing has a future in the Olympic Games. The WBC president has been a long critic of the amateur codes crisis hit governing body, but he believes it is most important for all people in the sport to work together to ensure that. This is a time for the world of boxing to unite. I'm sorry. I'm a struggle to get through this. Because coming from this guy, but let me just get through the article. Then I'll give you my opinion. He said, this is a time for the world of boxing to unite because the basis of boxing is amateur boxing, Suleiman said. It is the basis for everything. Wow. AIBA was stripped of the right to stage the boxing competition at the Olympics in Tokyo after a string of controversies that came to a head at the Rio Olympics in 2016 with the allegations of corruption and fight fixing. No, really? The International Olympic Committee set up a task force. Wow, all of that. A task force for boxing. Go imagine that. They set up a task force to run the competition in qualifying for Tokyo, which largely passed off without controversy under new president Umar Kremlev. The renamed IBA is looking to put its problems in the past, having tasked Richard McLaren, who uncovered the Russian doping scandal, with investigating AIBA corruption. Among his revelations was a system of corruption among judges and referees to fix fights. I'm going to stop right there. You know why? Everything that he's saying he wants to fix, is he at liberty to fix any goddamn thing?
And
is he at liberty to fix anything? Anything? The answer is no. And the fact that he was volunteering to fix it made me wonder, who in 2028 does he plan on eyeballing? Now, I want y'all to remember when he was on Barbershop Conversations, when I got a chance to talk to him. Just watch and listen.
Good evening.
hey, Mr.
Hello, Drew.
How you feel? To be honest, I had a bunch of questions, but I know I'm limited, so I'll just. You said you was in both locker rooms, in both Fury versus Wilder fights. You was in both locker rooms, right? That must mean you witnessed the hand wraps.
No, I did not witness the hand wraps. I was in the locker rooms where they have inspectors that are with the fighters at all times.
He didn't waste any time lying to me. He didn't waste any time lying to me. He didn't waste any time. Just keep watching the video. If you watching this on your phone, just keep watching the video, please. Now, you saw what I asked him. You're looking at his response. I was in the locker rooms where they have inspectors that are with the fighters at all times. That's what he just told me. This is after Wilder Fury 2. And this is his response to Sky Sports. It's ridiculous, Suleiman told Sky Sports. It's difficult to understand. I was present in both fights. I was in the dressing room in both fights, both Wilder and Fury's dressing rooms. That's his quote. Okay? One was in California, the other was in Nevada. In both cases, there were at least 3 inspectors in each dressing room. I was there before and after the fight. I saw the hand wraps. I saw them with the gloves. That's what he said. But what did he just tell me? What did he just tell me?
Okay, so you was in Fury's locker room, but you didn't see the hand wraps at all.
No, I visited both locker rooms. I do that in every title fight. I go with the challenger, go with the champion, wish him luck. Sometimes I go 2-3 times before the fight. So what I have said constantly is that I went to the locker rooms, and if you were to visit a locker room, you would see how many inspectors are in a room for a title fight.
I've actually seen it. I've seen video. I'm good friends with Tay Jones, and he shared cell phone videos, and I didn't see you. So
Tay sent me video on WhatsApp. He said, you tell me where Mauricio Simian is there. He said he came in there one fucking time, shook some hands, dapped it up with D, and he left. I asked him, did you see the hand wraps? I was very specific. Did you see who put on the gloves? I was very specific. But I'll digress.
I was asking, you was in both locker rooms, so you didn't see the actual hand wraps, and you didn't see who put on whose gloves. Because the reason why I'm asking is because I'm sure, you've seen.
Now look, I had to put back up what he said. He said he didn't see it, but he told Sky Sports, I was there before and after the fight. I saw the hand wraps. I saw them with gloves. With gloves. Not who put them on. With gloves. Did he check the gloves? Did the commission check the gloves? He didn't do anything. He went in there, dapped it up, and left. So why is he talking to Sky Sports about what didn't happen when he didn't check anything himself? And the commissions didn't do shit either, obviously. No, I'm sorry, they did what they were paid to do via Daniel Kinahan. You know Daniel Kinahan, his buddy, that he told us to shut the fuck up about? Like he told us to shut the fuck up about Alejandro, her man ass? That was wrong. Shut up about Daniel Kinahan. I'll judge him based off of, I'm not Interpol, I'm not the police. I will judge him about what he does with boxing moving forward. A week later, $5 million bounty on his head, and he's like, oh man, I made a mistake. That was already strike 3. I didn't even get to the Canelo thing yet. You see? All you gotta do is ask questions. Let them talk.
You've heard of Glovegate and the allegations about Tyson Fury's gloves, and it's interesting. Ricky brought up the Togo situation, and I'm glad you answered that question because things are different with jurisdictions, and I'm glad because I didn't know that. So I just learned something. Thank you very much. However, before I get out of here, what was the outcome with Togo? And
the boxing commission had the gloves.
I need you to listen to this. The boxing commission had the gloves.
And they confiscated the gloves. And
the boxing commission had the gloves. They confiscated the gloves. And they were researched.
They researched, and there was no padding.
There was no padding. There was removal of the product.
There's the removal of the product of the hair on the Reyes gloves.
Removal of the product of the hair of the Reyes gloves. Hashtag Adrian Broner, Marcus Maidana, but I digress.
That's what actually happened, and the commission presented that protest
The commission presented the protest to the WBC.
To the WBC, and they had all the evidence.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna get out of here, Fred. Where's Fury's gloves right now?
Right. Now he done said that about Rio Togo and Juarez, La Barbie Juarez, right? His name is Wilder, not Wilder. It's Wilder, right? Why didn't Deontay Wilder get extended the same courtesy? I didn't want to go there because they didn't put him on the spot. And I was trying to be friendly for the sake of Fred's show. But I went right to this question. Where's Fury's gloves right now? And were they inspected?
Were they inspected?
I'm sorry?
Fury's gloves. Were they inspected?
Yeah, I'm sure I don't know if the boxing commission has the gloves or who has the gloves.
Now he don't know. Yeah. First he says yeah, then he says, well, I'm sure they were. He don't know. He says, I don't know if the boxing commission has the gloves or who has the gloves. Now watch this.
But the gloves are inspected.
You see my face? You see my face? I'm like, nigga, you know everything about Rio Togo and La Barbie, but you don't know shit about the heavyweight division, your WBC champion, who was cheated, and you don't have those gloves, though? Where are your priorities? I'm asking you the same question. Did you extend Deontay Wilder the same courtesy you did La Barbie, and you told me, oh, I don't know. That's basically what he said. I don't know. I'm sure they did. I don't know. You don't know? Look at my face. I'm like, look at this mother. Wow. But he don't know, right? Now watch what I tell him.
Prior, during, and after the bout in every jurisdiction.
What?
So you don't know where the gloves are?
He don't know where the gloves are.
No.
He says no.
I know where they are.
Where?
In Sugar Hill's house. He told us.
Sugar Hill, the infamous interrogation that I did on Sugar Hill, that's the one that got me famous. With my camouflage do-rag, I just came home from the gym. Tay called me, he says, you never guess who's going to be on Barbershop. I said, who? He said, Sugar Hill. I said, man, I'm not calling it. And we watched for an hour. Tay called in first. I said, fuck it. Then I followed it up. And that's what got me internet famous, whatever. But on that show, he revealed when the gloves were, we asked him where the gloves were. He said, the gloves are in my house. I said, oh, that's great. So sometime later, this happens, and I told him they're in Sugar Hill's house, meaning go get the gloves, man.
Go have a look at it.
Okay.
Have a good day.
That's all I said.
You too.
Listen, look, this is what he says. I was sitting in the ring when they came into the ring, and I was sitting right there during the fight. At no moment in either fight, I saw anything that would look suspicious whatsoever. After the fight, they take off the gloves. They are handed to the commission. It's very sad because to try and take away something from a huge victory, one of the greatest nights in of the sport in the century, to try and put a blemish on that event is so irresponsible and so stupid. The man just lied. Because this is what he said after the fight. And I had that conversation with him about maybe a month or two later. The man lied. He lied. Because this is not what he said on the call with me. And this is why most motherfuckers don't want to talk to me. He called us stupid, y'all. He called us stupid. You understand? He called us stupid. It's not stupid. We're just asking for him to extend the same courtesy. Why are you doing for one and not the other? I'm not saying La Barbie's safety isn't any less important than Deontay. I'm just asking for fair treatment. Isn't that what black people always ask for? Because trust me, if we wanted revenge, we'd have got that years ago. We just want fair treatment. Hey, man, you emancipated the slaves. Fine. Let us, okay, you don't want us mooching off you? We're going to create our own towns and everything. And y'all went and burnt that shit down. We were thriving. Y'all put drugs and guns in our community. Knowing that a few bad apples will ruin the whole orchid. You knew that. That's not a black thing. That's human nature. That's human nature. They want to talk about black fatigue. All you crackers running around online talking about black fatigue. We tired of y'all. We tired of y'all. These were fair questions. The dude lied. What he told me was not what he told Sky Sports. And that's the problem with lies. You got to remember what you said. And if it didn't happen and you're making shit up, if you can't remember what you told me, you're done. You are done. What happened with Rio Togo and Labarbe Juarez, that happened. You didn't extend Deontay the same courtesy. In fact, you insulted us for asking why he wasn't extended the same courtesy. And then you running around with Daniel Kinahan. That's when we said, oh, now this shit makes sense. Now it makes sense. This guy was paying you, man. And then when we said, hold on. We just learned who Daniel Kinahan is. Mauricio, why are you putting your father's organization on the line working with this guy? You told us shut up. And now look. So let's review. You got the Wilder Fury situation. You got Franchon Cruz DAZN. He was wrong on that. You got Daniel Kinahan. He was wrong on that. You allowed Canelo to duck Triple G. You said, hey, you fighting Triple G next. He said, yo, take this belt. I ain't doing shit. But he's too good for business. You need a Mexican to wave that belt. You need a Latino to wave that belt. And when it was time for him to fight Jamal Charlo, what did you do? You invented a franchise status. That's what he did. That's Mauricio Simian, y'all. So when anyone asks me, what is my problem with him? You can refer him to this live. Because I explain it. This ain't blind hatred. This isn't even hatred. This is me looking at the facts and choosing not to deal with it. So when cats say belts don't matter, I'm like, you know what? The WBC sure don't matter because they don't care about themselves. Why would you take your main prize pig and say you don't have to challenge yourself? Do you know he didn't fight Jamal Charlo because of a franchise status? This is Canelo who beats everybody. Maul was up next. That version of Jamal Charlo at that time would have beat Canelo. But Canelo didn't challenge himself. And y'all let him get away with it. I'm not going to let y'all forget that. Jim Diamond, salute, man. He says, Cook, man, I'm on the job. Salute. My brother Tony C. in that super chat, salute. He says, salute, Drew. I see them views are going up, brother. I'm proud of you. Keep the boots on these dumbasses next. Hashtag Bronx on deck. I'm on the job. We kick so much truth here between us and the entire LDBC. Stormy especially. Our views should be way through the roof. The views don't match the subs because they take it from us. Miguel watching right now. I go up 5 subs, I lose 6. I go up 3, I lose 2. The difference in 1 month is 1. People don't do that, but they'll tell you it is. But I don't do this for a living. I have a job. Mook, what up, Mook? I have a day job. Mind the Mountain Moose, so salute. The truth is good enough for us. That's why I say like the video, share the video. We are our own algorithm. We kick so much truth, we're not putting the algorithm. You know what they put in the algorithm? Glorified D-sucking videos of Ryan Garcia, of Canelo. And, you know, I'm not on here bucking my eyes and tap dancing and in character all day long. Oh, man. Ryan Garcia, he got that lip hook now. While inhaling chicken. Tim Bradley. You cats are disgusting. All of you. I don't have to do that. I should have 20,000 subs by now. But I'm too honest for them. I'm not conforming. I'm not Jerry Springer. Do y'all remember a guy named Phil Donahue? A lot of y'all are young. Phil Donahue was the king of daytime talk shows. White man with all white hair. And he discussed issues in society. It was a very serious show. He had on a tie and very serious. When he retired, they were looking for the heir to the throne. Sally Jesse Raphael was a woman. She had her own lane. So it was her and Oprah, but they were looking for the next Phil Donahue. And there was a lot of pretenders that came around. A lot of them. Geraldo Rivera was around, but he was more in tune with the black and brown issues. So he wasn't it. Then they found the man by the name of Jerry Springer. And there was some guys that came along. There was the Richard Bey show. When Richard Bey came along, the name of his show was, the first name of his show was People Are Talking. That was the first name of it. And it was a more serious, and he was on there with a shirt and tie. Same thing with Jerry Springer. They were on two different channels. Jerry Springer used to be on NBC out here, I believe. And then something happened. Both of those guys, Richard Bey and Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer had a dysfunctional couple on there. You gotta understand, ladies and gentlemen, this was the early 90s, and it was so dysfunctional. I remember watching it. My brother told me, he said, yo, man, this guy Jerry Springer had some dudes on there with some girl, and it was like unbelievable. I was like, what? And I went to school and everyone was talking about it. They was like, did you see that? And if you watch the Jerry Springer documentary, I think it's on YouTube. I think it's on Netflix. That show, the ratings went through the roof. And they said, wait a minute. If we can keep finding people like this, we're playing the ratings game. We're making money here. Forget about this suit and tie and discussing politics and normal issues. The dysfunction is what gets us paid. Richard Bey started to follow that formula. It went from a serious show to a clown show. Chicks running around in bikinis, throwing wedding cakes at people. See, some of y'all are young. By the time y'all paid attention to Jerry Springer, it was normalized. I'm telling you, it didn't start out like that. They followed the dysfunction because it generated them revenue. Now, what's going on YouTube? We're talking about real stuff. I clown with these memes, but my memes tell a story. Do you understand? There's an element of comedy behind this, but I'm telling a story. And I'm giving you a direct line of facts. I'm not making anything up. What happens is these knuckle draggers and these racist non-blacks, they purposely get on the wrong side of history and scream and holler and root for the people that are wrong. You're rooting for Ryan Garcia. You're rooting for Canelo. Tay, good morning. You're rooting for the guy popped dirty and never apologized, never said sorry, right? Mauricio Simian told us to shut the F up about Franchon Cruz-Dezurn, gave Canelo a slap on the wrist, helped him duck Jamal Charlo. No comment about Ryan Garcia, nothing significant. They have their own clean boxing program. It ain't worth a damn. They upped the allowable levels of clenbuterol for Canelo Alvarez. They did that for him, and now they're doing it for Superdel Matias. He was rolling around in the dirt with Daniel Kinahan, got caught doing that. And by the way, you see Eddie Reynoso on the upper right-hand side? Do I got to tell you about his whole goddamn gym? Now, stop me when I've told a lie. The only thing that puts you in the algorithm is when you justify all of this dysfunction. And when you're black, justifying this, and then you drop an LDBC, you start calling us Wakandans, and we're just race baiting. What's racist about wanting to clean sport? What are we talking about? What's racist about wanting to clean sport? Tell me. What's racist is saying, hey, man, ostomy is not allowed. Why are these guys on Ostarine? For it to not do anything. This is the second fighter we've caught on it, and it's on the ban list. How is this a conversation? But it's become popular to be contrary. Young Abel in Super Chat, he says, remember when the KKK and Geraldo Rivera was on Jerry? Yeah, JDL. I remember all of that, bro. But when it happened, it was like shocking. In the 90s, I was still a teenager going into a young man. It was shocking. Like, oh my God, Geraldo had to fight and they threw the chair and broke his nose. I watched that live when it happened. Al Sharpton had the fist fight with the other brother's name. It escapes me right now. He pushed him out the chair. Freedom's March, salute. That was like, oh my God, look. It made the news. But about 5 years of Jerry Springer, it became normalized. Oak Park, my brother, salute. All of that shit became normalized. Like these young kids that were born in the mid-2000s, oh, that's Jerry Springer. No, you understand. Back in the day, that was abnormal, man. Y'all have normalized what's abnormal. Less wives and husbands, baby mamas become normalized. It's like, this is not normal. Chicks twerking and walking around in thongs all over Instagram. That's normal to y'all. To me, it's like, oh my God, her butt's out. Y'all become numb to this stuff. And it translated to boxing. Oh, he popped dirty. That's normal. It's not normal. Do you know Super Martinez killed somebody in the ring already? If I'm a relative of the person that died and I hear this, I'd want to go back and be like, yo, was he tested before he fought my cousin or my brother or whatever? My godson, my nephew, was he tested for that fight? Can I see the testing for that fight? Was there testing? You might have a case. You might. I don't know. But he killed someone in the ring, y'all. I keep telling y'all, what if Devin didn't get up those 3 times? What if he got up, got to the locker room, and had man. Y'all have no fucking clue how, man. What if Devin went to the locker room and passed out? Huh? Y'all do know that's possible, right? Y'all do know that's possible, right? Huh? Think about it for a second. Let that marinate, man. Do you have any idea how ugly that could have gotten? I want you to think about it. Subriel Matias killed somebody in the ring, man. Think about what I'm saying. What if we had a Gerald McClellan moment? A lot of y'all are young. Y'all don't remember that. Y'all heard about it. You might have seen a documentary or two. I watched that motherfucking fight live. Salute Oak Park. I appreciate that. I watched that fight live when it happened, bro. And it didn't look serious at first. He took a knee. They stopped the fight. Then he laid down. And then the stretcher came out. I said, whoa, what the fuck is happening? And shout out to Art Hostas, because it was through him we found out that not Conor Benn, his dad, Nigel Benn, ran around with a gang called the Essex Boys that specialized in running drugs. And Gerald McClellan was a killer. And he almost killed him in the first round. In fact, he was all hanging out the goddamn ring. Ben was. And then he recuperated and fought back and did that to Gerald McClellan. Got up off the floor like nothing happened. Sort of like how in Wilder Fury 3, Fury was bouncing around in round 11 like it was round 1. Bro, Drew, what does that mean? What does it mean? Y'all don't remember the fight was supposed to happen in July? And he caught COVID and left the country? And then came back? The guy has a goddamn history of cheating. What are we talking about here? Then he came back. Got stretched in round 4. Got up and got dropped again. By the time we got to 11, he's bouncing around like nothing happened. Thank you, main bike. I was getting to that. Do y'all know Nigel Benn ducked the drug testing after the fight? Y'all know that? Gerald McClellan, I stand on this. Gerald McClellan was assaulted in that fucking ring, man. And that's why Nigel Benn, he talked about how he had nightmares. You know what? I don't believe him. I don't believe a word he fucking says. He was a gangster and a cheater. I forgot who Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fought in Texas. But after the fight, he wins the fight. It was on HBO. He wins the fight, goes to the locker room, takes a shower, gets dressed, and left the whole building. I'm sorry, left the whole state. They were like, yo, whoa, you got to go pee, man. He left. He left. That was more than just weed. Weed is also a masking agent. That was more than just weed. But I'm a hater, though. But we know his history, though, right? I'm a hater. When I said it back then, I'm just a hater. But question, after he fought Jake Paul, what happened to him after that? Time reveals all truth. He's been like that. He's been like that. I don't just say shit by way of tribalism. I don't. I hold everybody accountable. Do I stand in the pocket for black people? Absolutely. But when it becomes unbearable and the facts outweigh what we're looking at, hell no. I'm not sacrificing my integrity if you're an asshole. No. Freedom's marching that super chat. Salute to you, good brother. Much love. Thank you so much. Mauricio allowed Canelo to duck Triple G. And then when he got back in good graces with him, he invented a franchise status and said, all right, I've learned from the Triple G fiasco. I'm not going to make you fight Jamal Charlo. What are we going to do? I'm going to invent a status and say that you can't have both. He vacated the real belt for this new status, this new concept, as he called it. It's a new concept. Magnificent salute, brother. It's a new concept. He was like, what? So that means we're not getting the fight. Funny. Jamal Charlo ends up with the belt. No one called him an email champion. You notice that? Nobody called Canelo a duck. We did. He pops dirty for clenbuterol. Triple G was like, man, I don't know how. You mean to tell me I was fighting this guy? He was on drugs? They give him a slap on the wrist. He played it in our face. You saw the commercial where Canelo had a rack of ribs, a half a cow hanging up in the gym, and they clowning and laughing. If playing in your face was a person, it's Canelo. And you're talking to a person that supported Canelo once upon a time. But how much am I supposed to overlook? And he's enabled by who? Mauricio Simian. Canelo has generated $500 million Well, I think he's made $500 million. Running around to these different companies, the Zone and the PBC. Ends up in good graces with Turkey. But I just said, you know, you get the Riyadh season, all you got to do is perform, right? You nice like that? All right, cool. What you want to do? You know what he didn't want to do? He didn't want to fight David Benavidez. So forget black fighters for a minute. You don't want to pass the torch to your fellow Mexican / Ecuadorian, but all Latino? You don't want to do that? Openly duck them. Why don't you want to fight David Benavidez? This guy's on record saying all he has to add is the extra 20 pounds on fight night. So what? You're Canelo, right? Y'all remember y'all wanted Floyd Mayweather to go inside the ring with Manny Pacquiao with no proper drug testing? Or he said, all I want is OSDT. And the world had a fit for like 4 years. I said, wait a minute, what are we talking about here? Just take the test. They made more excuses for Manny Pacquiao not taking a Olympic-style drug testing than anything. I was like, wait, no, what are we talking about here? Oh, well, Manny's afraid of the sight of his own blood. Manny don't like needles. He has a medical condition. I said, the man got tattoos. What are we talking about? Man, oh my God. Oh my God. You know what? God ain't got nothing to do with this. What you're seeing here on the screen is a legacy of evil. A legacy of evil. There's nothing good in this meme. From the bottle of Osterine floating around here, to Subadel Matias, to Ryan Garcia, to Canelo, to Daniel Kinahan, to the whole Reyes gym. I've never seen a fucking gym where 95% of the fighters pop dirty, bro. I've never seen that. That's never happened. All fucking around under the banner of the WBC. You cannot make this up. If that was Derek James and Al Heyman and Floyd Mayweather and Devin Haney and Abdullah Mason on this page, with all this dumb shit happening, man, no LDBC panel would be safe. Everybody would be on our bumper. And guess what? Justifiably so. Because I'm not defending that. But you know what happens? When you get a bunch of buck-eyed, big-lip, knuckle-dragging Negroes that do defend this, they get put into the algorithm. We're not liked. Period. We're not liked. Main biker in that super chat, he says, Ben, Fury, dad, and son. Apple don't fall far from the tree. Exactly. John Fury headbutted a kid in Usyk's camp and broke skin. That kid was like, he was a teenager? He was a kid. He was minding his business. You headbutted the kid in the face. He knew who to do it to. If I was standing there, he would look right past me. You go on and headbutt me. I'm going to headbutt your back. We're going to be scrapping out here. No, you're going to be getting fucked up. All of that growling and shit. The loudest mouth in the club had the glasses of jaw, if that makes sense. Nigga with the biggest mouth, with the deepest voice, all you gotta do is go up there and tag him. One good time. Yo, yeah, you know what I mean? Y'all fuck nigga, yo, yeah, don't go near me. Oh, bing, sleep. Sleep. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say won't be much. Be silent or be silenced. I'm that nigga. The loudest nigga with the biggest bass in his voice, 10 times out of 10, he's the biggest pussy. Let him talk. When he get near you, handle your business. Trust me, because he's going to be more shocked that you cowboying up. What, you didn't fold? You're not intimidated by my size. That's why niggas, when they say, yo, man, just because you big, I ain't say nothing about me being big. You did. Some of the best scraps I've had in the street were from dudes that was smaller than me. They ain't win. But they didn't give a fuck about my size. Their manhood was on the line. So they felt. Every time I mix it up in the street, I tried to leave a situation. Their egos got involved and they paid for it. But salute to them. They ain't make it. They got put to sleep. They ain't make it. But salute to them. Fuck out of here. When you get these goddamn clowns running around on YouTube and on how do you defend anything on this page? How? Showbiz, the grown adolescent, defended everything on this page. I don't even think he mentioned Daniel Kinahan. But did he say anything about the Reynoso gym? Did he say anything about the franchise status? Did he say anything about Clenbuterol Canelo? You see, what we all know what he said about Ryan Garcia. He said everything good outside of I want to fuck. Did he say anything about Superdale Matias? Did he say anything about them upping the allowable levels of Osterine now? For him? Did he say anything about Mauricio Simian not extending the same courtesy to Deontay Wilder with the Fury in the glove situation that he extended for Labarbi with the Rio Togo situation? Does he even know about that? You got all these spies and shit running around to our channels, dick watching like they dick watching right now. Did anybody run back to him and say, Drew's talking about Rio Togo and Labarbi Juarez? He gonna say, who? While bucking his eyes at 100 miles an hour. Punk ass. These are these people's lives here. That's why I found it comical when he says, I'm going to come in and I'm going to save the Olympic boxing program. Of all people, you, man? No, you want to hustle it. You want to get involved and put your name on it. Like how Trump puts his name on a building. You want to create a farming system. Who's the next handsome young lad that you can put some money behind? Because Canelo old now. And Ryan Garcia's been exposed. You need the next good-looking person. And hopefully he's from a country that speaks Spanish. Because Abdullah Mason is too black and too Muslim. Devin Haney's nose is too wide. He's light-skinned, but his nose too wide. His hair's too nappy. Right? Lamont, Bionic Prince, salute. You make me sick. Y'all want to talk about how the WBO, a.k.a. Bob Arum, whatever Bob orders, and the WBC co-inspired with Teofimo Lopez to freeze Devin out? Y'all want to talk about that? It's real easy. Matter of fact, don't take my word for it. Why don't we listen to good old Teofimo Lopez?
Hey, Devin Haney made a comment, trying to make whatever it is. But at the end of the day, Devin, you don't know. The WBC is not going to have you, even if you do the competition, they're not going to have you fight for the title. You can get mad at everything. I'm fighting for the title after this fight, for the IBF. And then after that, me and Loma for all four. And where are you? You're not going to get a shot, bro. And you don't know that, but we do. And that's what we did. I'm not going to fight more fights. So it is what it is, man. Talk what you got to talk, my dude. But at the end of the day, you're not becoming a world champion at 135.
Well, that aged well. That was 2018. Not only did Devin prove those assholes wrong, but Devin went on to be undisputed at 135. And guess what, T.O.? All your punk ass with your Shark the Con mouth had to do was beat George Kambosos. And you couldn't even get that right. You was running around trying to get a bag, right? Y'all remember he postponed the Kambosos fight like 3 times? They were supposed to be fighting on Triller and doing this and doing that. We got J-Lo. Remember that? Remember that? Well, you know what happened? He fights George Kambosos in New York. He loses. He's backflipping in the empty arena. And that's how Devin Haney came into play. But let me take it a step back. Prior to that, Teofimo Lopez beat Vasily Lomachenko. We was coming out of the pandemic when that happened. He beat him, right? But you want to know how that fight happened? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you. Drew's not going to let you down. That fight happened because Devin Haney was the mandatory to fight with Vasily Lomachenko. WBC. And y'all remember what happened? Loma is the second franchise champion. I'm like, what? Now there's 2 of them running around. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I said, okay, he's a franchise champion now. What happened? He's still gonna fight Devin, right? Wrong. So I said, well, what happens with you can't have both? And y'all remember the rules of the franchise status, right? Y'all remember you can't be both. You gotta be one or the other. So I said, why is everyone vacating the real belt for this stupid ass status? New Fat Boy, salute. Why are they doing that? And instead of saying, hey, Loma, you're supposed to fight Devin, y'all laughed and celebrated Loma, right? Y'all celebrated Loma as he goes on to fight Teofimo. Teofimo already had 3 belts, right? Y'all celebrated that and called Devin the email champion. That was funny. I'm like, well, young Devin wants to fight. What's going on? I said, we in the world of vice versa. I already knew what it was. By then, it's solidified. You already knew what it was. He goes on to fight Teofimo Lopez. Lopez beats him. I said, okay, well, so what? No backsies. Either he's going to go fight Devin or, I don't know, I hope Teofimo fights Devin because either Loma's going to fight Devin and get that belt back or Teo got to fight Devin because he got the last piece of the puzzle. Instead, in the ring, they hand him that franchise status. You know why that's a problem? Because one of the rules was, the first rule was you have to request it. Now, where's that a problem? Why is that a problem? Because when they asked Loma, Loma said they offered it to him. They went back to Simian and said, why'd you offer it to him? He says, no. The fighter has to request it. We have to vote on it. And if we vote yay, it's yay or nay. If we vote yay, we'll give it to the champion, but he can't be the real champion and the franchise status champion. So somebody lying. Either Mauricio's lying or Loma's lying. Loma, if they offered it to you, you accepted it because you didn't want to fight Devin. You ducked him. Mauricio, if you offered it to him out of nowhere, that means you saw more value in Loma than Devin Haney. Either way, it's all wrong. Now, let me tell you how it backfired on all of you evil cowards. Loma loses to Teofimo. In real time, I watched y'all give him that belt. So now there's a picture with Teofimo with a green belt. I'm like, The green belt, that franchise status, they also said it was not transferable. Look up the original rules. They said it's not transferable. It's a special status. As a matter of fact, when Mauricio was on Barbershop Conversations, they were asking him about it, and nothing he explained made sense. And he said, wait, Mauricio still don't make sense. He says, look, I know people are, they're hard on new concepts. It's just a new concept. Man, don't nobody want to hear that shit. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel, because all I saw was it was a duck belt. It only benefited Canelo Alvarez, and now it's benefiting Teofimo Lopez, because he was running around saying, I am undisputed. We was like, no, you was not. Had you have beaten Lomachenko while he had the real belt, then you would have been undisputed. Then you could have ducked Devin all you wanted. We'd have still called you out on it, but no one cared. But the reason why you didn't, bro, look. He had the real belt. Devin had the real belt. He wanted to fight for it, but it was given to him. Instead of calling out the person that sent the email, you called Devin the email champion. I said, all right, well, these guys got to lock it up now for the real belt. This asshole says no. Now I'm worth millions of dollars. All right, cool. Go get your money. Leave Tio alone. Let him get his money. That's what Cats was saying. All right, cool. Left him alone. Enter George Kambosos. Cheeks in that super chat salute. He says, super trash. WBC stands for we be cheating. Yes. Yes. So he goes on to fight George Kambosos in the fight that he was picked to win. I'm riding around my city. They had George's name spelled wrong in Manhattan. It was the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen. I said, damn. I said, well, I don't know how this kid's going to do it. And I wasn't too familiar with George, to be honest with you. But I said, man, you know what? I hope he wins, man. Because he's supposed to be fighting Devin for that last belt. But the thing was, I think George was the mandatory. So, I forgot how it worked out. But he got in there and lost to Kambosos. I said, look at this. And then George started acting funny, but that's something else. But after he lost, Teofimo told some more truth. Listen to this.
Yo, Tio, can we just get a Haney Kambosos? Who do you think wins that fight, bro?
Oh, fuck. No, it's a made fight for Haney. Yeah.
In what way? What do you mean?
Huh?
What do you mean?
Oh, the whole shit was a scheme, bro. They had the zone. I was on the zone platform. They gave it to Kambosos because they knew what I was going to do with it. They knew what I was going to do. I was going to drop him. Then it's a longer process for Devin to become, quote-unquote, undisputed. It's all a game, man. They pay that shit.
Isn't it going to be tough to win in Australia, though? Like, if it's a setup, isn't it when they set it up in America, not Australia? Where why
everything's already made. It's everything. I had to see that for myself. So they already knew who won before they even fucking announced it. See the tapes.
Hey, Tio, what advice would you give Dev on what he's got to do in the ring with Kambosos?
Fuck Buffalo.
You see that? So you're admitting to corruption, right? You're admitting to corruption. But when the corruption was in your favor, so you thought back in 2018, and all you had to do was win, you were fine with it. Newsflash. There's no level of corruption that's in the favor of any black fighter. None. Unless your name is Nigel Benn. Everything else is alleged. They allege that Floyd Mayweather and Al Heyman fixed everything. No, they did not. They were fighting against the machine. Like Devin Haney and Bill Haney's fighting against the machine. They were victims of the machine. So now he wants to say everything was already made. No, Devin went in there and beat up George Kambosos for 24 rounds. It wasn't even close. What do you mean? He did what you couldn't do. Beat George Kambosos. And he's doing what you refused to do. Fight the best. Tio, you could have fought Devin for undisputed at 35. You didn't do it. You could have fought him for $11 million recently. You didn't do it. But it's Buckeyes telling him, hey, is Buckeyes showbiz the grown adolescent? Is he telling Teofimo Lopez Hey, man, you were supposed to fight Devin for that 11 million while sucking on a chicken bone? Or does he go in there with get on all fours with knee pads? Going under his ball sack like a baby bird waiting for his mom to throw vomit in his mouth for breakfast. Big brother, what up? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Stop me when I'm lying. I don't need to. These are actual facts. And I'm keeping it so simple. Do I need to go on the Daniel Kinahan rant? Mauricio told us, shut the F up. I'm judging him from what he does now. I'm not the police. I'm not Interpol. Literally a week later, America put a $5 million bounty on his head. Bob Arum says, nope, I don't want no smoke. I'm cooperating. Mauricio Simian says, I made a mistake. We told you, you asshole. Y'all remember when Devin was stripped after his shoulder surgery? Y'all remember that? You were like, damn, he's having surgery. They made him champion in recess. But then I forget how it went, but they reneged on that and gave him back the belt. They were going to take the belt, and what it meant was that he'd be granted an immediate shot at a vacant title, once he's deemingly healthy and good enough to get back into the ring. That's what it was. But why take it in the first fucking place? They ain't wasting no time. Oh, well, Drew. Mr. Ishmael, salute. Oh, well, Drew, that's not racist because he let Jamal Charlo hold on to that belt forever. He did. But these cats are symbolic, and I stand by this. Beezy, what up? I stand by this. I need you to listen carefully. These cats are symbolic. Mauricio and the WBC didn't want Jamal Charlo to lose that belt to anybody but whoever they designated. They know Jamal Charlo was a mark. His mind ain't working right. He's dealing with whatever mental problems he has. They said, if this guy's going to lose, we want him losing to Canelo. You know, the same Canelo that ducked him and they invented a franchise status? That Canelo. So now Jamal's on a decline and got mental problems. Canelo says, I want both Charlos. That's what he said. That's what he said. And that's why Jamal held on to that belt. He said, I'm not going to take it because you know why? And I need y'all to listen. There was a guy coming up through the ranks by the name of David Benavidez. Now, I know he's at that time, he's at 68, but if you think for 2 seconds, if they took that belt off of Jamal Charlo for inactivity, if you think for 2 seconds that belt wouldn't have ended up in the hands of somebody that gave Canelo fits, you're bugging. Benavidez would have dropped down to middleweight to fight that guy. Boo Boo Andre was still running around there. Erislandy Lara could have ended up with that belt. If they just put the belt up and had the people fight for it, Canelo would have had to be in the mix. Their goal is to preserve Canelo. That's why they left that belt around the waist of Jamal Charlo. They didn't want anybody beating Jamal except him. Now, you could debate that all you want, but I seen the play. There was never a rush to take that belt off of him. Because anybody that would have beaten, that if they took it off of Jamal, any one of those names that I mentioned could have ended up with that belt. And that would have been trouble for Canelo. So they said, just leave it there. That's what they did. And when Jamal started getting a little better, so they felt, now all of a sudden he wanted to fight him. What happened to fighting him in 2018, 2019, prior to the pandemic? When it meant something. Nope. Never forget. That's what I'm saying. Canelo's a fraud. He's a fraud. He is. Hall of Fame by way of the resume. But he knows his limitations. His trainers know his limitations. That's why they juiced him up before that's why he ducked Gennady Golovkin the first time and juiced him up after that. I don't need to get into the Haney Garcia thing. We all know. It's in real time. But the reason why people are going crazy right now to date, because actually the Garcia thing and the Matias thing go hand in hand. The clean boxing program designated by the WBC is an absolute joke. They're spitting in our face, and they're disgusting. It's spitting in our face and it's fucking disgusting. And you should be offended. But if you're on the side of, if you're hey, Latino, pounded on your chest, if that's what you want, then you stay on that. You stay on that. And you're disgusting. You're disgusting. These clowns are so, when a black athlete does something wrong, they run to our channels. You gonna talk about this? Yeah. Or I'll ignore it because I don't represent that. That's not a representation of me as a person. Yeah, he's a dickhead. What more do you want me to say about him or her? But right now, as it stands, everything on this page. Hey, I am talking about a black man. Super Matias got nappy hair like me. He just don't speak English. His boat crashed over there. Mine came to the States. That's it. It's just a boat ride. But he has ostarine in his system. And just like Mauricio Simian did for Canelo with the clenbuterol, they're doing it for this guy. Dan Rafael thoroughly serviced Ryan Garcia, whom I might add is probably on some drugs again because he's talking again. He's talking again. He's talking shit again. So Dan Rafael told him what to do. Well, told him about himself. Sergio Moron, the Latin snake. I was calling him Sergio Moron because he said some questionable shit. But he got it right the other day. He said, this is ridiculous. You see, when you stand on truth, and the truth is supposed to come from the facts, you stand on that, nobody could deal with you. So I'm never concerned when people get in my comment section or whatever. Look, man, when I talk about these clowns, the Reynoso Jim, Mauricio Simian, Daniel Kinahan, clenbuterol, Canelo, Ryan, Racist Garcia, and now the cheater, Super Matias, who killed someone in the ring. Now I'm calling that into question. I always say the same thing about anybody. You don't have to like that I'm talking about people that you support. What do I say? Whether it's these clowns or Tank Davis, whatever, stop me when I'm lying. I don't have to lie on these clowns. Because all of these clowns that get support from these coons and monkeys and apes and beaners and all these other clowns, you check their body of work. Being contrary to what we represent here, as long as they protect people that they have an unconditional love for, it'll net them dividends. You see Ryan Garcia there? Okay. That's who you have an unconditional love for? That kid that I did the interview that I ran into him twice in Manhattan at the Palladium with the Ryan Garcia sign, and then I ran into him with his friends. And then I didn't disrespect him. I just asked them questions. And I will see the young man again. I'm going to ask him again. Everything that Ryan's done since we first spoke, it's going on 2 years now. One of the things that young man said was that he stands on Christian principles. Really? I'm glad that Ryan Garcia's Christian rhetoric, because that's what it is to me, Christian rhetoric, motivated you to be a better Christian. But has Ryan Garcia conducted himself as a Christian man? And I'll just wait for the answer. Because I already know the answer. But sometimes people need to People need to see it. People need to hear it, hear themselves say it. Crazy stuff, right? Crazy stuff. I'm looking for this short. This dude went on a tear, didn't he? You see, this is why Tank fans can't stand me. This is why Ryan Garcia fans, they don't even come around no more. Because I don't have to lie on these people. I just point it out like, yo, what is this? How do you explain this? How do you explain this? And they can't. How do you explain Teofimo Lopez going on a racist tirade talking about keep your black fighters? His father saying, man, stick to talk about the fight. And he telling his father, be a man, be a man. Going on a racist tirade. A racist tirade. To sit there and justify it is to co-sign it. Y'all know what I'm talking about? That's all right. Give me 1 second. I'll help you out. I'll help you out. Remember this?
What are you trying to say?
It's cool, man. Just ask me the questions.
In the lead up to the fight, you said if they want the black fighters, they can keep them. Why'd you say that?
Huh?
Why?
It's just a biased part of what I'm seeing in our field. That's it. Because it just seems like there's certain ones favoritizing others. I believe the commentators that are on the stand of ESPN are a bit biased to certain fighters.
Off the record.
No, it's not off
No,
the
man,
record.
stop.
It is off the record.
You wake up, bro.
I don't think
Not
any.
say that. Don't get into that, bro.
Wait, let me.
Don't fall into this.
I'm not falling into it.
Let's talk about the fight.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about
Go.
No, then let me let it go.
Yo,
let me let it go.
Hold up.
Let it be. What are you scared of? Stop being a about it and handle it like a man. Handle it like a man. All of y'all, handle it like a man. That right there, I've been dealing with for a while.
Really? What made him say that? What made him say that? This is a guy in 2018, the WBO, because he was with the WBO, because he was fighting on he was a WBC, right? He was rolling with the WBC, and he leaked. He said the quiet part out loud, because he was also fighting on with Top Rank on ESPN. And he let us know that there was an active way to freeze out Devin Haney. This is what he was doing. So when he's talking about bias, what is he talking about? What is he talking about for real? You understand? I don't have to make this shit up. I'm trying to find this other one. Damn. I don't know what I did with it. Anyway. But it's all good. Y'all remember Canelo tried to drain Badu Jack? 18 pounds to fight for his cruiserweight title. And Badu Jack said, man, F you, man. Go fight David Benavidez. Y'all remember that? Crazy, right? All Benavidez has to offer on fight night is an extra 20 pounds on fight night. But when he fought Edgar Berlanga, Edgar Berlanga came in at 198, which is actually what was he, like 4 pounds heavier than Benavidez was when he fought at 175 rehydrated. Ain't that right? These guys are living, walking contradictions. Living, walking, breathing contradictions. And all you got to do is let them talk. And all these guys get exposed in the wash. From black-ass Richardson Hitchens to these brownies over here talking crazy. To Keyshawn Davis with his fatherless meltdown. Conor Ben cheating all over the place. All of y'all. Y'all all get exposed. Tank Davis high-fiving Ryan. Floyd Mayweather telling him Floyd Mayweather telling Ryan Garcia to come in overweight. All of this stuff is documented, man. Y'all forgot about Floyd? Telling Ryan to come in overweight? Because when he was asked, hey, man, did you tell him? Like I said before, I can't say anything because, next thing you know, I'll be in court. Whatever the fuck he said. You know what he didn't say? He didn't say no. All these niggas get exposed in the wash. I'm telling you they do. And the brilliant thing is, stop me when I'm lying. If you can justify what Teofimo Lopez just said, say something. Say something. Until you knuckle draggers. You know what Ryan Garcia did say? He said, I'm going to do this and ain't no one going to do anything to me. And y'all done made that motherfucking greasy ass dude feel very comfortable, didn't you? Didn't you? Yeah, you sure did. And that's why I don't respect these clowns. When you ask me about when these clowns do get on the panel, they find their way on the panel, they start talking about, oh, well, showbiz said, don't ever in your life tell me anything about no goddamn showbiz. He's a coon. Tim Bradley, coon. He's a coon and an ape hybrid. Sean Porter, coon. He's a xenomorph coon. Big lip apes. And I don't respect it. So these are the faces of evil in boxing. The WBC is the worst belt, clearly. And this should be the last straw with this Osterine fiasco. It's nonsense. It's unfair, but it's typical behavior. And I ain't gonna talk y'all to death. Let me get out of here, man. Salute to y'all. Thank you for rocking with me on this Simian Saturday, number 7. I gotta do this every now and again. You know what I mean? And salute to y'all. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, actually. Bronx on deck.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.